Thank you for coming here today. And today I'm going to talk about the virtual production, the rise of a global innovation opportunity for the UK. So let me start by saying a few words about my background briefly and my university. I'm currently a postdoctor at the National Center for Computer Animation at Bournemouth University. And I am participating in a project about virtual production in the UK and China. So Bournemouth has a strong reputation for its computer animation programs. The NCCA is ranked as the UK's top animation school, second in Europe, and third internationally. And our graduates lead the global animation and the visual effects industry. Yeah, okay. And our project is funded by ARRI to explore cloud-based virtual production for international collaboration in the film industry. And we aim to identify the key issues of remote collaboration and develop future strategic plans for international collaboration in the film industry. And our project will deliver a thorough market research report to guide policymakers, investors, and the research institution in the UK and China, and build a collaborative networking in research and renovation. So starting on April last year, we've interviewed international industry professionals to gain the first-hand information. They are from Mo-sys, Creative Technology, ARRI, Epic Games, National Film and Television School, Final Pixel, DNEG, etc. Today, my speech topic will be centered on the UK side. And if you are interested in our project, please discover more from our project website, and I put the link here. We are planning to have a 2-day workshop starting on February 4th. And the workshop will be online, and it will be a valuable learning and a networking opportunity for anyone who works in the virtual production industry. If you're interested, feel free to contact me. And this one is my email address. So without further ado, let's get started. What is virtual production? So virtual production actually has been growing rapidly in recent years. And there has been a pause in global content production because of COVID-19, which could cause a content desert. So many studios were forced to rethink the way productions are planned. Smaller crews, budget limits, and COVID restrictions propelled virtual production to the forefront of the industry. So virtual production, as a revolutionary tool, is ramping up globally because it makes the production more flexible and cost-effective. This is behind the scenes of Mandalorian from the Industrial Light Magic. So the Mandalorian was lauded as the world's first show to be virtually produced by using an LED volume, which has become a benchmark, I can say benchmark in virtual production. You can see there is a stagecraft, which refers to the technical aspects of production, including scenic design, stage, machinery, lighting, sound, etc. And here is a camera with a tracker. It can compose digital VFX, visual effects, with live action camera footage in real time. And the giant LED words behind is what we call it as volumes. It can replace it with traditional green or blue screen. It displays the final quality VFX. So what is virtual production exactly? However, there is no clear definition about it because different companies and organizations have their own explanation. Briefly, virtual production is a broad term referring to a spectrum of computer-aided production, allowing real-time visualization and control of the digital environment when you are shooting. So to make it easier to understand, let me give you an example. If a director wants to shoot a sunset, traditionally he has to take the entire shooting team to the scene, but has only half an hour shooting time before the sky becomes dark, right? However, by using virtual production, production crews can create a virtual environment for the shoot, and they can change the environment by just click a mouse. So easy, right? So in this way, expensive traveling costs can be largely reduced, and a lot of traveling and production time can be saved. So virtual production is really a buzzword in recent years. However, the concept of virtual production is not new. Actually, it has been used for nearly a century, just in one form, displaying a live image behind the actor. So the advance of virtual production is not in the idea, but the execution. So the blend of multiple new technologies that redefine the virtual production. It combines the use of VR, AR, CGI, I mean computer-generated imagery, motion capture, camera tracking, game engine technologies with LED, and lighting system. So it enables the VFX shot to be captured on set, in camera, and in real time. In terms of why virtual production is a real-time technology, I have to emphasize that there is another key innovation of virtual production is a pipeline change. So the traditional project pipeline is highly linear. So directors prepare storyboards and short lists. So actors shoot on location, and then editors and artists start work after filming. So it is a one-way flow. So it has a very clear and defined timeline of pre-production, production, and post-production. So it allows many filmmakers can fix it in post. But in virtual production, post-production starts earlier at the development stage. It starts in pre-production. So it has below those defined and clear lines, which means what you see is what you get, because all the VFX can be rendered and see real time on set. In this case, the directors are closer to their decisions on set, and the final output is earlier to be modified during production. So in this way, the post-production is either removed completely or significantly reduced. It can save up to 20% of the total film budget. So the pipeline of virtual production is iterative. So virtual production kind of like roast up those previous linear production process into an agile production world. So it brings the different departments to working together at the same time instead of working in silo. Okay, and the next I'm gonna tell about, because virtual production is an evolution of filmmaking method, it has significant technological advantage. It can resolve green spill, achieve parallax effect and illusion. You know, realistic reflections are a big plus when it comes to LED virtual production. Traditionally on green screen, the green would reflect in shiny objects. This is known as green spill, and it would often take hours for post-production to fix this problem. So now you have LEDs. All the LED walls emit light and are rendered in real time. So the environment that the character is in is directly reflected into shiny objects with almost no post-production work required. So this technology made the Mandalorian amazing. I mean, because in Mandalorian, the main character has to wear a very shiny armor throughout the entire series. And also the use of the LED words allows actors to feel more immersed on set rather than having to act on an almost, a dull green or blue stage. The actors are all on the same page. They are seeing the same thing, and not much is left to the imagination. To make it clear, I got a video here and I would like to share with you. It is about why Mandalorian uses virtual production sets over green screen. So I'm gonna share with you.
While filming this scene from Disney's The Mandalorian, the actors could see their surroundings, but the surroundings weren't actually there. All of this is just LED screens, displaying backgrounds pre-made in a video game engine. Compare that with this fight scene from Avengers Endgame, where actors jumped around in a sea of green, imagining how VFX artists would make this planet look once filming had ended. The Mandalorian is one of the first major productions to choose LED walls over green screens, and the benefits for the actors are just the tip of the iceberg. LED walls make the lighting better, filming smoother, and in certain cases cost a lot less than using green screens. But to understand why the team behind The Mandalorian chose these LED screens, we have to understand just how they work. Mandalorian showrunner Jon Favreau revolutionized virtual production while directing The Lion King and The Jungle Book. However, the process for these two remakes still relied heavily on blue screen and post-production work. For The Mandalorian, LED wall technology seemed like the next logical step, given the show's production budget and time frame. Now, you may be thinking, this isn't so new. I've seen something like this before. And you're right, kind of. The predecessor to what we see on The Mandalorian is a driving scene like this one from Dr. No. You've got the actor in the car, and behind them, a screen with footage of the road they've travelled. But the technology was limited. Say you want to move the camera angle during the scene. That projected footage can't move with the camera. But by using Unreal Engine, tech borrowed from the video game field, that problem is solved. Artists can create a photorealistic 3D background that moves strictly with the camera's field of view, known as the frustum. So if the camera swings around and changes angles, the background shifts in precisely the same way. This allows motion-tracked cameras to execute traditional cinematography techniques within the virtual set, achieving cinematic movements like the parallax effect, where an object in the foreground moves at a different speed than the background, amplifies the illusion of filming at an actual location. Now that LED screens can move with the camera's eye, virtual sets can solve a bunch of green screen problems. The biggest one probably being lighting.
We've all seen movies, TV shows, where the lighting on the day didn't necessarily match the post-production work that was added many, many months later.
That's Richard Bluff, Industrial Light and Magic's VFX supervisor for The Mandalorian. He says lighting is one of the key benefits of working with virtual sets. The light coming from the LEDs provide realistic colours and reflections on the actors and props, something you simply can't achieve with green screen. They are also able to completely avoid the problem of spill. To better understand that, we talked to Kim Libreri at Epic Games, creators of Unreal Engine, which was used to build the virtual sets for The Mandalorian.
The problem with a green screen is that you have to have a green screen behind you. And what that does is that instead of projecting beautiful lighting from what the environment would be behind you, it basically puts a lot of green light on you. And we call that spill. If you wrap an actor with a big 360 LED wall, you can light in a way that you would never be able to do it on a green screen. So you can really make it feel like the characters are embedded in their environments.
This green screen spill would have been an even bigger problem than usual for The Mandalorian, whose main character gets a shiny new suit of armour early on in the season. So realistic lighting from the LEDs makes the show look better, but virtual sets help with practical concerns too. Take this scene in the office of the client, played by Werner Herzog. In a scene like this, surely they just built a simple set, right? Wrong. All of this is that same LED screen. According to Richard, only the desk, the floor, and 1 or 2 columns were really there.
Everything else was displayed on the screen. But this allowed us to limit the amount of stage space that we used in shooting season 1 of Mandalorian, which has understandably a big impact on time and budget.
To be fair, the initial investment in a virtual set like this is huge. However, the creators claim that money saved from travelling to locations, building new sets, and costly post-production can make the investment worth it. Along with saving time and money, the team developed a system that allowed artists to make changes and control the world on the day of shooting. Settings like exposure, color, animation playback, and fill lighting are available to the filmmakers at a moment's notice. If they want to move a mountain from one side of the virtual set to the other, they can, right there on set. Not only is it helpful for the actor, who no longer has to imagine where that mountain is, but it's a game changer for the director of photography.
Because in the distance, if there is a mountain range that is a story point, then the DP is no longer guessing where those elements are. He can frame up to them.
The virtual set constructed for Season 1 was 75 feet in diameter, 21 feet high, and also had a roof composed of LEDs. The cast and crew referred to this space as the volume.
And we had doors that can kind of close in to almost give you full 360-degree coverage of LED screens minus the floor. It's driven by a small group of machines running Unreal and our stagecraft technologies.
At the end of the day, the big question is, do virtual sets really mean the end for green screens? Well, even The Mandalorian, with its technological advances, used a version of a green screen, but via the LED wall. Another capability of virtual sets is to choose pinpointed areas of the wall and turn those green.
Now, we now have the ability to limit the amount of green screen that's visible behind the character. So now it doesn't wrap around the entire stage. It's just a little piece, but also they gain the lighting from that environment, which gives us a more seamless result in post-production.
Additionally, scenes involving explosives are best kept to traditional methods. This is to prevent LEDs from getting damaged. So will green screens survive this wave of tech innovation?
Eventually, of course, we hope never to use green screen, but I still see that there will be a future for it in the short term, because there's likely always a need to remove people to add additional action behind them. But we are getting to the point where the amount of green screen that's being used is massively reduced, and the sky's the limit right now.
So virtual production is revolutionizing filmmaking methods through reducing cost and maximizing freedom. So there are primary advantages of virtual production here, and I've mentioned most of them. So in terms of the last 2 points, digital assets library, virtual production gets involved in a lot of digital assets. So creatives can utilize the existing digital asset library rather than having to create assets from the scratch. So virtual assets can quickly be customized to meet the needs of any production. For example, from what I know is Epic Marketplace is a platform that allows developers and artists to share or sell their assets online. And in terms of the global collaboration, the development of this technology has made it possible for filmmakers to build up their teams by creating virtual content, no matter where they are located, like China and the UK. There are a lot of opportunities can collaborate because they are highly complementary in hardware and software facilities. And they all have the natural and the cultural resources, and they all have the very professional talent supply, so which are very suitable for remote production. So and I also got some data from the industry. For example, virtual production can eliminate unnecessary travel and post-production expenses, which can reduce costs and save up to like 60% of the total budget. So it is very impressive number. And another thing is virtual production is sustainable. So the carbon footprint results shown here is a huge difference. There is a very significant 0.74 savings on a LED virtual stage versus around 95 on a location shoot. So virtual production is greener, and which might be 130 times more effective in carbon footprint compared to on a location shooting. From market perspective, because I'm not a techie person. I study business, so I'm doing the market report now from the market perspective. The global virtual production market size is estimated to be $2.6 billion in 2022, and is projected to reach $5.1 million by 2027. So the market is very promising and huge, because the rising demand in movie production budgets and the high usage of visual effects in theater, in film, and television, in video games are driving this market growth. Unsurprisingly, North America is the largest market for virtual production, with 38% revenue share in 2021, and Europe ranked second in the global market share, and is estimated to grow rapidly in the following years. Even though Hollywood, we know, is the biggest player in this market. 14, isn't it? Sorry. But in the future, much of the future growth is expected to come from APAC countries such as China, India, Australia, Japan, and South Korea, because they are increasingly using virtual production technologies. Globally, there is a wide range of application for virtual production, which is not limited to film and television, but also includes advertising, online videos, games, automotive, training, and simulation. From the global market view, the film and television series segments made up the largest market share since 2020, and they are expected to continue to dominate the market in the following years, driven by a huge demand. The commercial aids are becoming a significant part for the future market growth, and the increasing transition of movies from cinema to over-the-top platforms such as Netflix and Amazon and other online video platforms, they are expected to boost the growth in online video segments. And UK actually, as a hotspot in the global virtual production market, the UK is renowned for its pioneering technologies, equipment manufacturing, and large-scale virtual production capacity. So to meet such a huge market demand, UK has been fast scaling its virtual production capacity in recent years. Today, there are a total of 40 VP stages in the UK, ranking second in the world. And the UK studio space expansion in 2021 added 1.5 million square foot to the capacity, aiming to double its studio space throughout the country by 2025. And the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 here, they're based on the different size of LED stages. So tier 1 means large scale, circular, and enclosed with LED ceiling. So UK has 12 tier 1 stages, which accounts for 30% of the global tier 1 stages. It's a list of the primary virtual production studio in the UK, and most of them are located in London. Because the UK actually has been devoted to staying at the forefront in the creative industry. So the UK government, as a key player, they actively support the development of creative industries throughout fundings and policies. So UK government, they release a very competitive tax relief for all UK qualifying films of any budget level. The film production company can claim a payable cash rebate of up to 25%. And they also, through UKRI, has funded several R&D programs to support creative and immersive technologies in recent years. For example, CoStar, a £100 million program was launched in 2022 to establish a new national lab for virtual production technologies. and the 3 network labs for the screen sector. To attract and keep talents, UK government has added almost all artists in the production role in the VFX to the shortage occupation list, which could mitigate the restriction on workforce mobility after Brexit. So far, I actually have talked almost the advantage of the virtual production technology, but does it have any problem? Of course, it does, particularly at this early stage. So there are several key issues in the UK at the moment, and fundamentally, most of them are related to cost issue. First, they are very expensive. VP market is capital intensive. For example, a small volume runs about 20,000 pounds a day, and a really big volume like those in Pinewood, they runs nearly 100 pounds a day. And to make it cheaper under recession, Mo-sys, actually a leading camera tracking company, is working on a new hybrid virtual production workflow for small and medium budget projects. Because at moments, most of people, they can't afford it. So in this way, they combine the green screen for wide shots and the smaller LED volumes for mid and close-up shots. Because of running up a volume is so pricey, so which may result in a market structure change. So because there are too many volumes are coming up, and there may not be enough companies that have the budget right now to be able to afford the rate. So perhaps we will see the industry consolidation happen. So those really successful stages and very high-end ones will continue to run, and then everybody else will just consolidate. Another one of biggest problem now is talent shortage, because VP is complex and ever-changing. Nobody truly understands this cutting-edge technology, and so there is a significant bottleneck of talent, resources, and deep knowledge. Of course, many of our industry professionals think virtual production is difficult to replace on shooting or green screen at the moment, because VP doesn't look as good as being on set, because they're not actually real. And the second, when you are bringing the form of sustainability and cost, green screen is going to win because it's just a cloud, right? And it doesn't cost as much power. So thirdly, replacement simply won't happen because there's a whole entire company set up for those traditional production. So conclusion is now is green screen and the blue screen are still going to coexist with LED volume. So creatives at the moment, they pick virtual production as a tool when it is the right decision for the film. Another thing about the issues is higher bargaining power of the supply. So in the supplies the suppliers in the virtual production are mainly hardware and software manufacturers. However, the hardware like LED, the LED screen market is highly concentrated. The software like Unreal Engine, it has monopoly in the software supply market. So the buyers' profits are constrained, and the supplies competitors are struggling in leading the market. So for buyers, they are difficult to switch to other replacements or make backward integration. For competitors or new market entrants, they are difficult to gain stronger market power because of the high entry barriers. In terms of the standardization, I said by our project partner from DNEG, Guanglei Jia. He said everybody can contribute to digital assets and the crew can find the assets by global sourcing. but there is a standard of the assets and how to set up this standard. And also defining those copyrights for digital assets is also a complicated issue. And because the last part I'm gonna take a few more minutes to talk about is talent, because I'm from university and the talent training and the education is something we really concerned about in this project. So in terms of what roles are in high demand, I would say based on our research, the first one is technical, and the second one is stage operators. They are the most needed positions. So technical artists basically have very highly creative abilities as well as very strong coding abilities. So they can write code, problem solve, and communicate effectively with creatives while fixing complicated technical issues. And the stage operators, they are called brain spark, and they are able to manage the entire stage in all aspects. In terms of the other roles in demand, like a virtual production producer, systems administrator, virtual production supervisor, Unreal Engine developer, and LED engineer, virtual production operator, etc. I have actually compiled a table about virtual related course in the UK, as you can see, to fill the skill gap. Individual companies, training school, universities, and government agencies have been closely collaborated to provide various short-term courses and degree empowering courses. And also, like Bournemouth University, we are also going to launch a master course about virtual production in this year. So let's stay tuned. I hope it will be useful for anyone who are interested in entering virtual product industry in your future career paths. Yeah, so basically the virtual production is very thriving industry, and the market is at an early stage, and it is expected to continue to rapidly growing. So there is a lot of business and career opportunities on this object. I hope my speech today will help you get a deeper understanding of this technology. Thank you.